We need some noise in chat as we are heading to Demon Island for game number 1.
Here?
Raydish, the first one to pick up a weapon, gets a little bit of damage onto megD already without him being able to grab onto a weapon. Raydish tried to grab himself a nair or two, but megD managing to avoid it narrowly. Raydish going for a stray side signature, but it's not going to manage to hit. Neutral light there from Raydish. megD with a rush down of a wake up. Try to go for a side signature. Punish! GCNC is gonna hit! That GCNC is gonna hit and it's gonna take the stock. Raydish is barely in yellow. Excuse me. Dude, the flavor of the Chef Raydish is phenomenal right now.
Oh, he's still chasing. He is not done. And also, we don't really see too many signatures, which means I think Raydish has really kind of caught on of, you know, I can't get away with too many signatures. I got to rely on light attacks, and only every once in a while will maybe an end-sig hit here and there if I plan it out just right. megD building up a decent amount of chip and punish damage, so... that's gonna let him come closer and closer to an even game. Raydish has to dodge through the weapon throw, which exhausts the dodge. And yeah, megD's gonna clash Raydish out of that first stock, although slight damage lead in Raydish's favor, but nothing that just a few stray Qatar hits can't really even out, and a few more hits that don't really feel as stray. megD starting to pick up the pace. I think we're catching on to his strategy. megD wants gauntlets if he wants to play a little bit more slow and really drain Raydish, or maybe switch to Qatars to play, even as Qatars double down if he wants to pick up the pace and put Raydish on pressure of getting down to that last stock. Raydish has been playing quite phenomenally tastic on these gauntlets, so that despite the fact he has to come back from a ledge guard, which has proven to be a little difficult.
Oh no, that GC down sig wasn't going to go through megD's own down sig. I'm noticing a lot where megD is using the gauntlets as almost a KO option to try and, you know, revert Raydish and try and, you know, fish for a recovery, which seems to be a lot of what North America is about as a region. So, but, you know, at the moment, megD's Qatars have been doing really well. Sideline to the neutral light there from megD. Trying to find a little bit more damage, but he gets sided, sent off the stage. The recovery rush is gonna send him back. That side signature barely missing. Oh no, megD is gets hit by a rush down of a ground pound there from Raydish. It was a bit of a wake-up option. Raydish wasn't in the best advantage spot. In fact, he wasn't in an advantage spot at all. But, you know, he went for something audacious, and it worked. For the time being, it worked. Raydish trying to go for a dare after that ground pound, but megD avoiding it narrowly. Raydish trying to make his way back. Both of these players now in neutral. megD trying to hopefully fish for a recovery or something, but he's gonna have to do it soon because Raydish is just getting a little bit of free damage. Trying to go for a recovery after the nair, but not gonna be enough. That neutral light isn't enough either. megD trying to finish off this edge guard potentially. That neutral thing is gonna do it. Game 1 goes to megD.
Player 2 wins.
Raydish needs to try and think through that first stock to find out what worked. And yeah, no, what maps that Raydish is banning out is very interesting. It's kind of hard to, I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit hard to find a pattern. They all have pretty different amounts of platforms. They all have different amounts of blast zones. So Raydish's strategy going into this, that's also another thing. Raydish can be pretty hard to read sometimes, and that is also part of the reason megD is just off the bat choosing to play a decent amount just off of whiff and punish, because a chip and punish rather. Because
yeah,
Raydish,
at the moment, when it comes to those map bans, even though they are different sorts of maps, they will give Raydish or megD an advantage in a different way. So Raydish is kind of just throwing that out there as if it's a, hey, you know what, just pick your poison. See what works for you, because this is definitely going to work for me. But regardless of that, we don't have a map change here for Game 2. megD is in the advantage right now. damage at the moment, pretty even. megD trying to go for a side signature, but Raydish makes his way back. Side light into the end light. Raydish trying to pick up a dodge, but the recovery missing. That again, not hitting again. megD with a huge read. That's not going to get the KO just yet, but Raydish, either way, can't make his way back. The side air on the katars was enough to get the KO, and now megD gonna keep himself some katars as Raydish works his way around with the orb, gets a side air, trying to find something else. Another side air, not gonna be enough, but megD is out of options, and he's just gonna drift the other way. As it's really even here in this game too. Raydish is doing super well at the moment. Now, there's we'll try to go for a side air. Oh no, GC third. megD has the edge guard, trying to go for some more. No, GC. Raydish makes his way back. megD tried to go for an extension, but Raydish sorts himself out. Gets away from the edge guard. megD tried to go for the wake up, but wasn't going to be able to hit. Down light into the down air. That neutral light not going to be enough to get the KO just yet. Raydish works his way back. The recovery, but no, not going to be enough as megD was not far enough away, and he just went for a wake-up ground pound as Raydish went for that exhausted recovery, but didn't have enough dodge to get back onto the wall, and this is looking really strong here for megD. He's you know, maybe a stock away from being one game away from a reset. megD not going to make his way back. The exhausted recovery is going to take him out, and we are even again when it comes to the stock count. The damage count is a little bit, maybe a little bit left to be desired for Raydish, but it's not by any means anything out of the unnecessary, as he sends himself almost all the way to the other side of the wall. megD now getting a read, but that's not going to be enough to get the KO. Then M-Light into the recovery. Raw neutral signature. megD tried to go for a recovery again. Now megD onto the gauntlets. Raydish without a weapon as he is into the red. It's not going to take much for him to be KO'd. Now megD keeping Raydish off a weapon. That recovery is going to do it, and megD is 2-0 up in Grand Finals.
I think 15 is starting to look a lot less likely, because Raydish needs to change something fast. Let's try to see if we can get a little bit of a pattern as to what maps they're finally banning Demon Island. I was just about to say, what is one of Gauntlet's best KO moves? That's right, it's recovery. Having a map with, I think, the highest KO ceiling in the game, it might not be a fantastic idea. We leave Small Brawl Haven at Miami Dome and Air Temple, if you want to count that, because like I said, I'm not even sure how many people leave those as legitimate picks. I'm pretty sure people leave those knowing the other person's going to strike it, meaning they have to choose between two maps. And I miss Crystal Temple. It was so pretty. The music was nice, and it was a pretty standard like 2 soft plat map, and I miss it. I like Crystal Temple, but right now we are not on Crystal Temple. This could be Raydish's last game in the winner's bracket. megD starting out pretty nice, especially since megD has these guitars, which means it's going to start rushing down a little bit more, playing a little bit more aggressively. GCN like to wake up. That is quite a shocker.
I mean, you don't see it every day, but it works.
No.
megD getting a side air onto Raydish.
Oh, and that's stock.
Wait, what? Oh my god!
Oh, that was deserved. That was so earned. That was so worth it. That was earned.
That was worth. It was worth. Trust, worth.
Yeah, no.
Dude, I think Raydish just went onto the kitchen stove and he's like, this is boiling a little bit. Let's just burn it to a crisp real quick. And megD and Raydish go out at the same time. Raydish tried to use that chase dodge and wasn't able to make it back, but regardless, it was a good trade for Raydish to win. And now megD and Raydish at the moment, they're trying to work their way around each other again. megD working brilliantly on these katars. Raydish trying to find something on the gauntlets. He's gonna try and maybe go for a couple of sares. Expect maybe a neutral air or two. megD tried to go for that side signature, but it was punished. Raydish ground pounding thin air. There's another side air there for Raydish. megD gonna make his way back. Trying to use that side signature again. Raydish is out of options, but it isn't gonna matter. He got the exclamation marks, and megD has put Raydish on his last stock in the winners final. Potentially. There's a side air there from Raydish. Oh, that's gonna even get the KO. They are looking really close at the moment. It is very, very even in terms of stock, in terms of damage. But if megD can win this, he puts himself into a bracket reset 3-0, but not if Raydish has anything to say about it. He's trying to send megD up into the sky. There's another side air there from Raydish, trying to use a GC down signature, but not going to be enough of the sort. There's another neutral light again from megD, but he gets punished for a side light. Now megD, he puts himself up on the stage. A side air again from Raydish, trying to go for something else. Side air again from Raydish, and again side light and light from megD. This is really intense at the moment, trying to go for the side signature, but no, he gets punished for it. Raydish now has the edge guard. Side signature, that's going to do it. 2-1 to megD, but Raydish, he does get a game. He does have hope.
Another, I guess, underappreciated part about being able to slow down the gameplay means you have more time to try and read your opponent, more time to try and observe how they're going to approach you, and eventually you kind of get the hang of, you know, what moves they like to approach with. So megD approaching this very strategically and just trying to give really just observing Raydish more than anything. You approach with this, I'm gonna be right. So I'm gonna be ready for that. You know, you're not gonna catch me with, you're not gonna catch me off surprise by that. Going over to Apocalypse. Another thing to mention is megD so far has been in complete control of the game speed, and suddenly game 5 is looking a lot more likely considering that last game from Raydish, but it was still very, very close. So it is, I mean, this is one of those things where it's starting to feel kind of wrong to call early, because everything we say, the opposite happens. So right now, as we have a gauntlet, we have gauntlets on stage. Yeah, the strategy that megD uses the weapons is pretty interesting. So maybe Raydish is starting to get a bit of a read onto that and trying to make sure, you know, both of these players suddenly have a very good understanding of how they're going to approach each other and how they're going to adapt to each other. megD slows down the gameplay and has more time to observe and download Raydish. Raydish, I mean, megD also has a very particular, oh, that is a clean stock too, since megD is a very distinct and particular way of using both of their weapons to their advantage in different ways. Raydish then kind of see like, okay, you have this weapon, that means you plan to approach me in this way, or you plan to play this way. But megD is actually starting to throw that up on its head a little bit, playing these gauntlets a little bit more defense or more offensively. That might be pretty good against this orb right now. megD is at a good spot to try and balance out the game, make a bracket reset, feel just a little bit more close.
Or Raydish, he does get a bit of a wake up there, and he's gonna try and send megD out to the side, but he returns back to stage. Now Raydish is the one on the wall, makes his way around megD. You try to go for that neutral light, and it didn't end up hitting as Raydish went all the way around it. Both of them now whiffing an end light, and Raydish at the moment, he finally gets KO'd by that recovery up the top. megD with a successful chase. He's now going to put himself on the guitars, so you're probably going to try and see megD maybe go for a little bit more of a rush, but not if Raydish has anything to say about it. He's tried to send megD all the way up to the top, but wasn't going to do enough. Now both of these players just trying to return into neutral, trying to use their movement to try and bait each other out. Another recovery from Raydish, swaps onto the orb now. Try to go for the edge guard, but megD makes his way back up again, and now he's put Raydish out on the edge, but he makes his way around again. Another side air from Raydish. Yeah, megD getting around that signature, which now he's working. He's going to try and work a bit of damage on these katars, but he's got to try and avoid a side light, which would get the confirm side air, but almost. megD is not looking good. He does make his way back though, and again, that's not going to get the KO though. He does get sent out to the side, but he doesn't have enough options to make it back. And look, Raydish is in a really advantageous spot at the moment. He's going to just keep megD in a little bit of a corner, and he's going to try and make sure that he can, you know, just control the pace of the game, you know, get your reads, get your confirms, and just watch out for anything that could potentially put you in a KO range, as that Neutralite's gonna put you in the red. But, and again, another Neutralite who does make his way back, narrowly avoiding the weapon throw.
Oh my god, how?
He has a recovery and a dodge left. He's gonna make his way back. megD can't complete it. That neutral signature ended up hitting. megD ended up just unfortunately walking into it. There's a recovery finally, managing to convince Raydish to get himself into a false button press. And he's put Raydish on his last stock. But at the moment, Raydish really wants to put himself into a game 5. He gets side air. We're trying to work his way back. Down C gets the whiff coverage. There's a Neutralite. Not going to be enough to get the KO just yet. Raydish keeping megD off a weapon. Another side air. Not going to be enough just yet. He did get the touch though. Down C not going to even hit megD. It's just going to run itself into the wall. And now megD's got to really try and avoid anything that Raydish throws out to him. He is really bleeding in that burgundy sauce with the damage, but he has Katars. He can build up a lot of damage, but he isn't going to build up any at all as we're going into a game 5.
Yeah, no, that barbecue sauce red is something that's going to be really, really good to cook with. And the moment that Raydish saw that that was in his fridge, he knew that he had to use that. And megD actually banning out Air Temple. Maybe some players do. I mean, of course, some players do genuinely leave it as a choice for the person to pick from. But hey, it's always interesting to see. But yeah, no, what happened during that last game is perfect proof of another thing that we mentioned earlier, is that one of the unspoken and lesser really talked about or acknowledged benefits of megD's gameplay is that he has more time to download you. A lot of the things that Raydish would try and just throw out and use, especially like that one stray side signature that was way off, megD has more time to learn since, you know, he puts himself away from you. He kind of just observes you and takes notes, and he has a very good download on you. The only thing that let Raydish take that game was a punish, and Raydish is going to be looking for a lot more of those as both these players are stepping up their movement. megD, you can tell that last one slipped, and I know you can't break him, but he's a little salty about that. He wants this reset.
Yeah, megD ended up fast falling into that GC side signature that megD used, and at the moment megD is looking really, really strong right now. There's megD try to use a GC neutral sig to try and, you know, bait out an edge guard. A GC side like that, that's gonna get the KO. Hang on. Hang on a minute. We are stepping up our game, ladies and gentlemen. Do not put your eyes away from this. Again, another side air from Raydish. Try to go for another one, but megD went all the way out to the side. Neutral signature managing to connect the dodge. Now megD trying to work his way around. Downlight into the neutral air again. Trying to go for a ground pound. Punished. It's gonna send Raydish out to the side. That's a nice recovery there again, but no, making his way back. And there's a lot of damage being built up onto Raydish right now. As he just bleeds himself into the red from that side light into the recovery, is gonna get the KO, and Raydish is on his last stock in game 5. He has to take the next 2 stocks without losing one to take out the entire tournament. But if megD can take this, we get a bracket reset. This will be huge.
It is.
There's at the moment, megD trying to get a couple reads in, but he gets put it into the orange. Raydish try to go for another side air again. Raydish with a bit of a punish. megD falsely reading the dodge. And now megD is trying to just be patient. That's the best thing that he has on his side right now is his patience. He's getting a lot of these free neutral airs, and Raydish is just haphazardly running into them. Another nair there. Raydish trying to go for the wake up. Gets the dodge read. Raydish is out. But it's a bracket reset.
So,
Look.
winners finals, game 5. Grand finals, game 5. Grand finals reset? Who knows?
Look, if it's a game 15, I swear on my mom. I swear, I don't know.
Alright.
I don't know
just
how
wanna
it's
give a
how.
quick
Look, these
shout-out.
players are gonna be tired.
Probably
You
not
guys
megD.
gotta
though.
be tired. Are you guys
Probably.
good?
These players,
Probably.
I mean,
look. If one of these players just wakes up and they all of a sudden have carpal tunnel, that is their fault. Okay, that is all I am
mean-
saying. That is their fault.
megD is like no stranger to this. He's no stranger to drawing out a set. Like I said, this is part of the reason I was so worried about Raydish. megD's here for the long haul. megD is used to this. You don't break or wear out this guy on the right over here. I know that like Raydish is probably a little tired of this. He's like, oh come on, please just let a side sig hit you once. I've tried it so many times and it's never come even close. It's always like a D sig to bait you out, or it's always a rare N sig to get you closer to the top of the screen. Can a side sig just hit you once? I know there's got to be something going on in the inner monologue of the Garnet over here, but like. Nah, megD's just. I'm confident megD's just chilling at this point. This is an average Tuesday for the man.
An average
See,
Tuesday.
look at this. Look him.
Yeah, we'll try to go for another really strong read. There's a. Well, now Raydish has put megD on. He put him on the wall, but megD, he's running out of options really quickly. He does make his way back. Both of these players are now setting into the neutral. Both of them with gauntlets in their hands. megD gets punished for going for the recovery and eats a recovery himself. And now that first stock goes to Raydish in game 1 of the reset. So it's at the moment the momentum for both of these players is kind of just swaying back and forth. Weapon throw into the side air, into another weapon throw, which ends up getting the KO, which is like, I'm surprised that even done the job that it was supposed to, as megD now making sure that Raydish can't get onto a weapon. He finally does pick up the gauntlets. megD try to go for the read, but can't find anything of the sort after picking up the dodge. Now Raydish, it's at the moment both of these players trying to return themselves into neutral. megD's the one to break it, but can't find anything else other than there's a neutral air. Oh, nice neutral signature there from megD, but it's not going to get the KO. Raydish now getting a little bit of an unarmed combo to just get megD away as he picks up the orb. megD trying to revert this edge guard. He gets around a little bit of a clash there between the two players.
Oh.
Raydish going way down below, and that's going to end up being him at fault. And he is gone. He is out of there. He has one stock left in this game, in this game of the set, but at the moment, both of these players, it's just going really back and forth between the two really high-level, high-class players. Try to go for a ground pound, but megD ended up just sorting himself out. He gets a read. Try to go for one again, but no, Raydish managing to get himself away. Oh no, the GC, but Raydish doesn't get completely punished for it, as now he's going to put himself onto the orb, hopefully trying to get the KO. megD tried to go for something special, but he didn't have enough flavor to finally get that KO, and he's going to get KO'd himself. Raydish now, he has a stock to play with, but it's not much of a stock. He's in the red, and it doesn't take much at the moment for megD's weapons to be able to get the KO, especially with a stray signature like that one, as megD takes game 1 of the bracket reset.
So I'd have to say, Brawlhaven, it might have been a little bit better for Raydish. In fact, you can see him leaving it open, and there's a small chance megD might also want to go back to Brawlhaven. We could be here for the rest of the night, folks. So, Yeah, no, honestly, I might as well unpack and get comfy here. megD also started to get pretty ambitious during that last game, especially some very bold guitar commits. So definitely playing or proving just megD's strategy with the weapons and how he uses them. Raydish is really going to have to try and use that, because look at this. When megD knows how to turn up the heat, he can turn up the heat. Now he's just looking for the barbecue sauce to come along, but Raydish is trying to hold it away from him. This is starting to get really close. megD now over on the gauntlets to try to build a little bit more damage. And also, yeah, megD, this is coming in as a huge surprise. megD spent the entire first part of Grand Finals pre-reset playing pretty slowly, pretty reserved. But, whoa,
what in the world?
Okay, Petra offense gonna have something to say about that. Petra's got what, 9 attack, but
Like
megD,
8 strength or something like that, 7 or 8.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, you know,
megD
megD did a quick turnaround with his side signature, which ended up hitting. Now both of these players are trying to work their way around each other. Ooh, recovery there from megD, trying to get themselves a read and the edge guard. Raydish is at the moment just kind of kept in the corner by megD, and it's looking really nice for them at the moment. megD trying to get a read again, didn't quite pay off there. Trying to find something else, but not gonna be enough. That neutral signature barely not catching on. The recovery after the nair not gonna be enough to get the KO just yet. Raydish makes his way back with the unarmed, but it's not looking good as he gets red. And that's gonna take him out. megD is looking really strong right now. It is looking absolute. It's just not looking the greatest for Raydish. He's gonna have to try and claw his way back into this match, as that GC is not gonna be fruitful of any kind. Another signature from Raydish. megD punishes. Try to go for something again, but megD is just doing really well at avoiding anything that could potentially lead to a lot of damage. And as I say that, he just gets GC and seeked after the dodge. So Raydish has something to say. He has something to say about this topic of discussion.
And I got something to say too.
Oh no.
This is a very interesting match because megD could be getting a little cocky, maybe a little too overconfident. Because I mean, as much as that recovery, that side sig, and a lot of the things that megD's throwing out, as much as they're very well deserved, Raydish is never really too far behind, never really too broken to call this early. Because there's been a few times like that double ground pound at the start of this game when Raydish was always able to turn around and bring it right back to megD. Also, just like now, megD was in the...
Oh, no! What in the world happened?
That was the only thing he could try, too. megD's got to be feeling really good off of that. And the, since this is game 2 of the reset that he worked so hard for, megD has been bumping up this speed, honestly. Some moments of this have been some of the fastest that I've seen megD outpace someone and rush them down, which I know is what you do in guitars, but like, this is a brand new megD we're entering 2023 with. So, but Raydish, that would never really always catch Raydish off guard, because Raydish would always be able to get some kind of turnaround, or at least put the pressure back onto megD. So that actually could be the thing. Listen, I know megD's up 2-0. I know megD has some very confident gameplay right here, but maybe he's getting a little cocky. I know you said you can't break him, but there is always a trick to it. Maybe Raydish just needs to wait for the right moment to turn around just barely. megD is actually starting to... just playing passive a little bit to try and wait for the KO. But... still, if Raydish just is able to wait for the one moment to turn around, he's gonna need it, because after a 30-second stock, megD is playing, I mean, out of his mind right now. Hopefully he doesn't get too cocky.
30-second clean stock. I have to mind you, megD, I mean, you can critique him all he wants about the riskiness, but it's not riskiness as how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as megD found an opportunity, and he is taking it with 100% of the passion that he has, which, however much he has, I'm not completely sure. Ask him. But he's that 30 seconds, 0 to death, and megD is in a really advantageous spot. He's making sure Raydish doesn't get a lot of center stage.
Ooh, there it is.
He may finally be getting KO'd there, as finally megD is gonna lose a stock, but Raydish has a lot of room that he has to claw his way back into. He does get the true combo, tries to find something else, but nothing will evade him as megD gets a nair. Raydish did touch though, so he's gonna get himself to the other side of the wall. GC Ensig, megD can't get the edge guard properly. Weapon thrown to the end light. Weapon thrown to the recovery, this time from megD. Gets a GC, and Raydish is now on tournament stock, ladies and gentlemen.
Could be the most expensive stock in the tournament right here. Raydish picks up gauntlets to try and counter these Katars. And here's the thing, although megD is able to get a pretty nice dodge punish off of that combo, with all the strength on Petra, that's gonna turn orange into red. Oh my god!
megD, with that, you are the US East 1v1 Galaxy Cup Blizzard champion. My god, that is a mouthful. Whew! megD just took the game in style. He knew Raydish just was burnt to a crisp, and he just took an opportunity and ran with it. Absolutely well played there by both of these combatants.